Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to be breaking down the two-handed backhand drop. So I did this shot almost a year ago, I think, and since then I have some new little things that I think will help you guys. So I'm going to kind of go over it all again and kind of show you how I hit it. I think this is a shot that I hit pretty well, and there's a few keys that I think keep it really simple for me, and I'm going to share them with you. Thank you for all the support. It's been so amazing. I'm gonna keep making sure I pump out these videos. I just got back from a long trip, so now I'm gonna film a bunch here. So I'll have lots of content coming out. Keep commenting. There's so many comments. It's gotten a little bit challenging to answer. So if it takes me a few extra days to answer your comment, bear with me. But I'm making sure I get to all of them. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. It's the best way to support me. Thank you, guys. So when we're talking about the two-handed backhand roll, the first thing is the way you hold your paddle. Now there's two different ways to do it. I am gonna recommend the way that I do it because I think it's a little bit easier. So the first way to do it, and if you come from tennis, you may like this one a little more, is you get your right wrist. So I'm gonna show you guys like this. Instead of holding it like this, they pronate their wrist. So it'll look like this, and then that shot will kind of look something like this. Now, I don't hate this method, but it requires very good footwork to get in the right spot. The reason for that is your contact zone has to be here. Because as soon as you get here, there's no way for me to hit this. How I hit it, now this is a little bit different. I don't really do anything with my right wrist. So I just leave it. So now my paddle, instead of being like that, is like this. What this looks like to you guys when you're watching is that I'm cupping the ball. But I'm actually not doing anything with my right hand. I'm just not pronating or anything. I leave my right hand still, and I let my left hand do the work. So when I set up, my paddle isn't like this, it's like this. And what happens is when I drop, I can hit the ball out front like they can, right? I can go out here and hit this ball, but even if the ball's back here, I can still hit it because of my wrist angle. So it gives me a much bigger hit zone. Now, what this has allowed me to do is work on taking balls on the rise, hit hybrids. It gives me a lot more variety on the shot rather than every shot needs to be here, here. So if you want to hit it like I do, the first thing is with our right wrist, we're just going to point our paddle forward, nothing crazy. Then our left hand's going to go on. Some of you asked me this. I keep my one finger behind the paddle, and I have a second finger on the bottom, and then I have two fingers or three with the thumb wrapped around. That's just how I hit it. You could be like this if your hands fit. Again, my hands don't really fit, and I like having my right hand a little higher on the paddle, so that's just my grip. But again, now I'm here like this, and then we're going to drop into the shot. Now, what that looks like is here. So I get rid of the backswing. So my setup is literally here. Now my paddle is low. You can see how I'm gonna get the outside of the ball, right? My paddle's pointed this way. Even if I go line, I'm still gonna hit the outside of the ball. Wherever I go, I'm gonna hit the outside. So I'm gonna walk you through some of those right now after I say one more really important thing. We are not gonna move our legs as we hit. Again, power is not an issue because we're hitting a drop or a hybrid. It's not a drive. So you don't need to go like this as you hit. And that's what I see a lot of players doing. When I hit my two-handed drop, whether it's open stance or closed stance, I'm here, paddle sets. Again, right wrist just left hand accelerates to my shoulder. My legs don't move. So what that allows me to do is be consistent with my contact, consistent with my follow through, and consistent with my shot. Now, the last thing you might have heard me say there is accelerating with my left hand. That's how I think about it. When I hit this ball, I am taking my left hand to my shoulder fast. That's how I'm able to get topspin on the ball and be accurate. Everything else, the type of third you want to hit, which we're going to go over in the second half of this video, still requires left hand acceleration, just in different angles. And that's going to change whether you have more of a higher floatier drop, whether you have that hybrid drop, or whether you have kind of that normal 50-50 drop. So first I'm just going to show you guys what that looks like full speed and slow-mo. So Zach's gonna feed some, and I'm just gonna kind of walk you through what we're doing here. So again, I see the ball coming, I prep, I swing. Ball coming, accelerate. It's all in my left hand that gets that ball down. Now, if I don't use my left hand, this is what a lot of people do, and I push with both, it'll look a lot more like this. And the ball just gets a lot less action. The reason for that is my right arm is gonna pull. That's all it can do. My right hand's never gonna go like this. So the more right you use, the flatter your ball's gonna be. So by using my left hand, just letting my right hand go along, I can get that ball up and down. So I can hit the ball pretty high and still get it to bounce in the kitchen by doing that. Now, obviously, that's not how I normally would hit my thirds, right? I would then flatten them out a little more by going forward with my left and make them look more like that. But again, you can see how I get low with my legs, my right hand stays. You can see how I get around the ball even when I go line. So everyone always asks that question. When I'm going line, how do I get around the ball? Watch. I'm gonna hit the outside of the ball and I'm still gonna go line. Well, that was a terrible feed, Zachary. Joking. That was my fault, guys. So again, I'm gonna hit the outside of the ball and go line there. So the ball's gonna tail to the right, but I am still able to go line. Now what this does is that it gives me a lot more control, and I think I'm very consistent when I do this. Again, this is the hardest spot to hit this shot. Generally, I would be hitting this ball to Zach's left foot. I would rarely go line. The reason for that is when I go line, the net's higher, the kitchen's shorter, he can ernie. So normally I would go here if I'm going forward. I would go there, and then I can come in like that, right? So again, it's gonna be his backhand. I'm gonna follow it. I'm gonna apply pressure. That's how I hit it forward, but generally I don't hit this shot forward. I hit it cross. So generally with this ball, I go cross. The reason for this is one, it allows me to hit the ball harder because I have more space to hit, which I like. Because for me, I like to hit mine very linear. We're gonna get to that in the second half of the video. But in general, this is gonna be an easier ball because I'm always gonna be able to hit to the backhand, and especially when they switch. So a lot of times when this person serves there, they return line, I take this ball 2-y and I just roll wide. But again, the only difference is gonna be I'm not gonna go, you didn't have to, but you could see on some of these balls I would go like this. When I'm here, I would only go to like here. I wouldn't go fully closed, not that you couldn't, but you'd have to hit across your own body, which I just don't personally love. So again, stance-wise, it's pretty similar. Feet point this way, I go there. So I'm able to be pretty consistent here because again, I'm using my left hand and my right hand I don't do anything with. So the other method that people hit is more like this. So it's okay, you can hit this way, but if I'm gonna hit this way, I have to be way in front, like that. Now this probably gets a little more action on the ball. You can see how aggressive that is, but I have to be way in front. For my shot, what I really like is if Zach hits a really good ball that gets deep on me, I can still take that ball from my back leg and go like that and get it in the kitchen. Now, why is that? Because my right hand isn't pronated. You guys always say, I don't know if pronated is the right word. My right hand isn't like this, right? If you can see that, it's like that, like straight ahead. What that allows me to do is get my paddle back and up. So that allows me to adjust later. What this also allows me to do is get way around the ball. So Zach, feed one wide. I can take this ball from here and go like that to the corner, getting way around the ball, which this right here is one of my favorite shots. So I go, nice shot. I go all the way to the corner and then I crash or my partner crashes. We create lots of offense and easy points. The last thing is you're gonna have two different kinds of drops I want you guys to practice. The first is gonna be your regular drop. Now this is gonna be the drop you hit against anyone that reaches in the kitchen, anytime you're on your back foot, pretty much anytime you're really thinking, again, which side of this spectrum are you on? I want the ball to bounce, I want an aggressive third. If you're closer to the I want the ball to bounce, this is gonna be your standard third. Now, we're gonna get low and we're gonna really brush up. So my swing path is almost 45 degrees, maybe even a little bit higher, maybe even like 55, 60 degrees. Now, what I mean by that is 45 would be right there, so I might even be more up than that. What this is gonna do is it's gonna turn more of my acceleration into spin and a little less to power. So my ball is gonna move a little slower, it's gonna bounce a little higher, it's gonna be less aggressive, but still way more aggressive than like a slice or a shot like that. So I'm gonna show you guys those first. The second kind of ball is your linear ball. This is the ball I hit most of the time. So now my angle is actually a little bit lower. So my follow through with this ball is more like this. So you can see how much out I'm going. Now this ball more than any other ball requires the most acceleration. The reason for that is I need to get on top of the ball so it dips. Because if I hit this ball fast without getting on top of it, it's gonna be a drive and they're gonna be able to counter it, which is exactly what I don't want. My goal with this shot is this is for players who are shorter, back up a lot, are switching late to get in, anything like that. I want them to have to take the ball here. So I try to hit that ball fast and early right behind the kitchen line. I'm gonna show you both of those right now. So I'm gonna demo this cross because you guys can really see the difference. So my standard drop would look something like this. This is gonna be that very up follow through. See how this ball comes up, down, up and down. So I'm focused more on height and spin. The one thing with this that gets dangerous, Zach, go, is if Zach wants to back up, this ball can bounce up and he could attack. Now, I promise for most of you guys, the players that you're playing are not gonna be reading it, backing up and doing this. Now, the adjustment, if somebody is doing that, is I go to my second option, right? So now I'm gonna make this ball more linear. Follow through is gonna be forward, like that. So now Zach's backing up to let it bounce, and he's in big trouble. Now this ball, this is how I hit almost everyone, but there's less margin. So you can see how low it is, there you go. So you can see how low I hit this to the net. That just means that I can't decel. If I decel like that, I'm gonna miss. So instead, I'm always focused on left hand acceleration. As long as my left hand moves fast, I won't miss. So even if I miss, it's gonna be deep. So Zach's gonna be forced to take it out of the air. What's not gonna happen is I'm never gonna miss like that if I'm accelerating. So one more time, I'm looking to bounce this ball right on the line or just behind it. Kind of like, yeah, maybe that was a teeny bit deep. But again, if Zach is a little late getting in or he doesn't reach well or you catch him off guard, this is your shot right there. Yeah, that's exactly where I aim. Right on the kitchen line, heavy top spin. That's my favorite shot in pickleball, and now you guys can do it too. Richie recap time, guys. So I just want to break down, there was a lot of information about just one shot, right? So this is one of my favorite shots. I think it really changes the game. If you're a slice-only player and you're trying to level up, this is one of the easiest ways to do it. You go from a dead ball on your thirds to offensive, aggressive, point-gathering thirds, right? Now, the key for this is a couple things. The first one is our setup, right? So again, I think unless you come from a high-level tennis background and you really like the wrist pronation, I like when the wrist is forward like this. I think this allows us to get around the ball, set up early, and be in good shape. Now, once we're there, we'll put our left hand on, and your right hand just goes along for the ride. It just carries the paddle without really doing any sort of pulling or anything like that. Then we're gonna get down. If you really wanna simplify it, draw a line to your target with your feet. Eventually, you don't have to do this. So for those of you that say, oh, your feet are gonna point to the target, I can take this ball and go there, there, there. But if you struggle with it, point. It'll make it a little easier for you to aim. The last piece is our legs don't move. So as we accelerate to our shoulder, our legs stay down and we stay powerful. We're not gonna pop because we don't need that extra power. So we're kind of just gonna leave that power on the table with this shot. The other thing, right, is our two different kinds of drops. Our high acceleration, normal get the ball down drop. This is really good against tall players that reach. Our second one is our linear, more of a hybrid drop. This is gonna be good against shorter players that don't reach, players that are switching, or players that are trying to read your ball back up like Zach showed you. I promise if you use this shot, you will get better, you will be better, you will have more offense, and you will have your opponents in fits. Thank you for coming back for another video, and I will see you all next time.